Okay, today we're going to be painting a little trim. We're lucky because they're going to be removing this carpet, so we don't have to really tape anything off, but we still got to have a really good brush. Don't go to a store and buy a cheap brush. You always want to spend a little extra. Pearly make a beautiful brush. When you're using paint, you want to use a real good paint. This customer here is going with a white gloss. They want a real gloss finish. So what you want to do is, remember, when you're painting trim, is you want to get your brush on an angle, and you want to get it so you're right at that edge. Now, everybody tapes everything off. Tape is very expensive, but if you take your time and with a little bit of pressure in the right edge on a brush, you don't want to overflow it with paint too much, but what we're doing is we're painting everything this way. The paint has already been painted here, so we're pulling into that to give it a smooth finish is what it comes down to. Just take your time. Use those bristles. That's what they're designed for. Tape, I like to say, is for amateurs in a lot of ways, but we do use tape. I use tape here and there too when you got to go around things. You want to make sure that the baseboard's nice and clean when you're going across, and just drag that right on there. Take your time going through, and then when we get real lucky is down here on the bottom, we don't have to be so careful because you want to make sure you vacuum it real good, the edges here, so there's no hair or any loose pieces of carpet you're going to get in your paint. But we can just put that right on. Again, you want to drag it always this way so you're not making brush marks. You use a good paint, it'll self-level itself off. Go right down, get that brush at the right angle, come right down through it, just like that. And don't try to stretch your paint. Everybody does that. An old man once told me, you can't paint without paint on your brush. You don't want too much because you'll get running all over the place. You got to find that happy medium, but if it isn't putting paint down when you're dragging the brush, guess what? That means you don't have any paint on your brush. And that isn't rocket science, folks. So we get right into all those nooks and crannies so it looks real good. And that's what we're going to do. So just take your time. Anybody can paint. All it is just a little bit of patience.